Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now today I am going to be repotting some of my Sarracenias. So a lot of them now have gone into full dormancy with their winter leaves only. So in the winter is perfect time to repot them because you don't have the hassle of the bigger traps, plus they're in dormant, so as they're asleep it's better to repot them then. So I wanted to put everything into square pots this year. So everything that I've got in round pots will be eventually repotted into square pots. So because I haven't been to my greenhouse in ages, exams, Christmas, it's the first video I've done in a while, I thought it'd be nice to come out here in the greenhouse today and repot some of the Sarracenias I've got. So I will be selecting a couple that I've got in round pots, and even the ones outside of my bog planters. As I've previously mentioned, I've got two bog planters outside. One of them didn't do as well. The Sarracenias that I put in there, it was all experimental anyway. They didn't grow as much as I wanted to or develop enough colour, so I'm going to take those out and replace them with some that I've got in here, which I know will be a lot hardier and a bit more mature to hopefully progress and withstand different changes outside. First one that I've got is doing great. Second one is the one that I'm going to do a bit of a redesign this year, so hopefully I'll keep you updated with that. So I'm just going to turn off the camera. I'm going to dig up a couple of the Sarracenia from outside, and then I'll show you how I repot my Sarracenia. So I've just taken these two Sarracenia from my bog garden outside. So this one here is the Sarracenia flavivar rubricorpora. So this, even though it's a lovely big rhizome here, never produced the really nice red colour of a rubricorpora. So it's got some nice winter leaves on it though, and looks a little bit like it's actually got some pest damage there. I'll just have to inspect that just to see, but I'll wipe that off and treat that. It looks like one of those moths that folds the leaves over, so I'll just cut that off and just inspect the plant for any more further damage, but it looks like the rest of the plant is fine. But it's got a lovely big strong root system, as you can see. And then this little one down here is the Sarracenia rubra werrii. So this was the yellow flower, and this one, even though it's a small plant, did flower this year. And I did use it in one of my crosses, but at the beginning of the year when I first put it in the bog planter, it didn't do as well. Towards the end, after it stopped flowering, the traps did look a bit better, but I'm going to take it out and hopefully it'll do a lot better in here and colour up and be a bit better. So another healthy plant. It's got three actually babies in there. There's one on the bottom here, then two either side here and here. Another really strong plant, but I would like to replace those with something probably a bit more mature, a bit hardier to put outside. So I'm just going to quickly pause this video and show you the bog planter which I just dug these two out of. So I did a quick like 14-second video just to show you the whole bog planter before I dug these two out, just to show you what it looks like currently in full dormancy. So I've decided to repot this Sarracenia flavivar rubricorpora first. So I've cut off the leaf, well the winter leaf, that was damaged. It was just as I suspected, one of those caterpillars that just fold up over the leaf. But the rest of the plant is really healthy, no other signs of pest damage. So it's all good to go and I don't need to treat it any further. So I've selected a pot for it. I'm going to put this one in a litre pot because it's a very big rhizome plus good root system on here as well. And for my mixture of soil, I'll be using a peat and perlite mix. So I do about a 2:1 ratio, so for every 2 scoops of peat, do 1 scoop of perlite till I get about this kind of consistency. So it looks quite obviously heavy of perlite because they need good aeration. I like to compact my pots for the Sarracenias quite well, so I need obviously a lot of aeration for that in the soil. Okay, so this is the pot I've chosen to use, and so far I've just put a little bit of the soil mixture at the bottom of the pot so I can place the soil around the root system. So simply get the obviously plant and I just place it nicely. So put the rhizome, because the rhizome will grow outwards, so each year when they go into dormancy, obviously the plant gets bigger, so the rhizome will be going out this way. So I make sure that the old growth is far back in the corner like this, so then you can allow room for the plant to grow further, which means I won't have to repot this one for a few more years, because as you can see the pot is quite big, but the root system is very big as it is, due to being outside in obviously those large bog planters, and now me putting it into a pot. So after I put it like this, I'm just going to get more soil and then put it round. So I've got some in here. These are my old trays that I used to use when I first started the hobby, really. So you can see there's a bit cracked in the corner. And then I just work up the soil mixture around the plant. So hold the rhizome up. You don't want it to bury this. You need it to at least stick out the pot a little bit. So I'm just going to grab some more soil and put it in here and then fill it up like that. So I've just added some more soil to the tray. These trays actually do come in handy. So if you've got any like high-sided trays, then it's really nice just to pot them around. I haven't repotted any of mine obviously since last winter, so I haven't needed this tray all year, but it's actually quite handy now to have it instead of just using buckets I've been using to mix my soil for other like drosera and stuff. But it's handy for plants like this, so you can work around the plant at the same time. So I'm just going to put up a little bit more because I want the soil to be round about level with the plant, but obviously not covering the rhizome. So I always have this old growth here just sticking up above the soil as well, just to allow the plant, and as I'm going around I am just gently compacting it a little bit. So not very heavy compaction, but just making sure that the soil is firm, so when I let go of the plant it doesn't topple over and doesn't wobble as well. But it's not heavy, so it won't keep all the water and it'll be hard for drainage or anything like that. Due to all the perlite as well, it helps with the drainage, and I don't like having my plants too loose in the soil, especially with my younger Sarracenia. Due to having smaller rhizomes, they topple quite easily, so this method's quite handy just to keep them in the pot. And then once you've got them fixed in the position that you want, it's easier just to pop them round. So as I've now got it in the place that I want it, so I want it here, I'm just going to simply fill it up, but not cover this new growth. So this is where the new leaves or the new drops will come from, which is the newer part of the rhizome, and you don't want to cover that. So you don't want to only see these top bits here, you want to have this growth and some of the old growth sticking up. So I'll just continue going around and just make it nice and neat, really. Everybody has their own like kind of preference how deep they want to put the soil in the pot. I like mine almost level with the pot, but this one I have put down just a little bit, but it will fill up quite nicely to be in level with the pot, like so. And then I'm just going to pause the video and do some finishing touches just to fill up these little gaps around here, and then I'll resume the video at the end. Okay, so I've just finished putting all the soil around just so it meets the rim of the pot, and as you can see, it's a nice lovely plant that looks really nice in this pot with loads of growth from. So this is how I like to repot my Sarracenia. So I'll just do one more of the Sarracenia rubra warrii. So I'm just going to put the label in here, and then this one can also join the greenhouse amongst my collection. So the next Sarracenia I'm going to do is the Sarracenia rubra warrii. So this one's the yellow flowered one, and it had 3 growth points, which I originally showed earlier. However, when just picking this up, I noticed that the little baby that was on the end was loose, so it snapped off. But it's got its own root system as well. So if I just put this one down, so it's just a little baby that came from an offcut of the rhizome. So this in theory could be like a miniature rhizome cutting, and as it's got a couple of roots of its own already and some like looking like it's got some nice growth there, I think I'm going to pop this one up. I'll just put it in like a tiny 6cm pot here and see if that one grows. Obviously I'm not bothered either way, but that's a little like a rhizome cutting, which I said I would do a video on separately, which I will hopefully use some of my more mature ones where they are a bit small. Obviously being slow growing, that little baby there, don't know if obviously how fast it will grow, whether it will grow at all, but it's nice that I've still got obviously 2 on the plant. Shame about the little one, but it does now give me extra room in this pot. I'm using a 8.5 square pot, so same mixture again. I'm going to put a little bit of soil in the bottom, and even though this one's got a really big root system from being outside those bog planters, I'm only putting it in this 8.5cm pot purely because of how small the actual plant is. So as you can see, it's still got quite a lot of growth from the front, so me putting it in this corner to the front. So Sarracenia don't mind being in cramped pots, but I didn't want to put it in a litre pot like the other one, purely because it will look a little bit out of place, but it will probably be one that next year I will then repot again into that litre pot. But just for now, I'm going to pot it up in my normal 8.5cm pots, which most of my Sarracenia are potted up in. It's usually the ones with the larger rhizomes and like the unexpected kind of offcuts and all that, which have got really nice big healthy growth, which I know will fit nicely in those pots. So same process again, where I have compacted the soil down as I've been putting it in, and it shows you where I'm going to put the plant in the pot. So if I just move it back into the corner, it stands alone now, so I could just easily pack the soil up around it. So I'm going to just continue packing it around the plant again, making sure to leave the bit of the rhizome where the new growth is above the soil, and then the rest of it will obviously be under. So again, just getting it to the right height that you would like your plant, and then putting the soil around it. So it's quite nice, these Sarracenia to pot up, especially when you've got like a nice big mature plant. It's easy to work around instead of the younger plants, and they just sit in place nicely. And this will do this plant for another year or so, like I said before. And then obviously just finish patting the soil around to the pot level. Like so. And then after you've got it to a nice level pot, so I've got this to the height of the pot again, then I'm just going to place the label in the pot, and then once again, obviously this one will stay in the greenhouse, and I'll replace what was originally outside in the bog barrels with other plants. So with the watering, I am literally just going to now water the two that I've done. So using rainwater, I'm just going to make sure that the soil is moist through. This soil is already quite damp, and obviously being winter, you don't want to make them waterlogged or rot. So I'm just going to make sure that the soil is damp, because the soil, even though it is reasonably damp, has not got any moisture in it. So I just want the plants to obviously keep moist like they require, and that will do them until next year. Okay, so that is a rundown on how to repot Sarracenia, and I have just watered them through, so just in this tray, and then now the soil is nice and damp, so that should do them really well until the weather starts warming up again. Everything in my greenhouse so far, I haven't really needed to water. I haven't really been to the greenhouse due to being so busy, and everything in here is still really damp, so it's really good to last through the winter. Plus with repotting, helps them, you know, stay in their pots, helps them grow a bit, so then when it comes to spring, they'll put up some nice healthy growth. So I'll keep you updated with those. And I even repotted the little baby that fell off. So as you can see, this is a 6cm pot, and it's tiny in there, but it's got some, like you saw before, it's got a nice root on it, and it's got some little nice new growth. So I'm hoping that that will recover. It might go with some stress, obviously being damaged from the original plant, but having a root system and all that, I think that that won't be okay. But again, I'll just keep an eye on this one, and they will all just now stay in the greenhouse, and I'll replace the bog barrels with some new plants which I've already got in my greenhouse. So thank you very much for watching. I just thought I would say before ending the video is that mine and Jerry's Etsy shop, CarnivorousPlantsUK, has had some new stock in. So some really nice rare plants on their house plants, and some carnivorous plants. We even got some nice cephalotus in, which I decided to keep one for myself. So this is one of the cephalotus that you can get on the shop. So they are only available to UK, it's the only place that we are currently selling these plants, but we've got some nice plants in there, so if you're interested, please make sure you check it out. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you have a nice day.